New details on the death of actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa. Both were found dead inside their New Mexico home in February.
Hot news. Legendary actor Gene Hackman has long been known for his iconic roles on screen, but now his name is making headlines for an entirely different reason. The FBI's recent search of his mansion has uncovered something so shocking that it's sending ripples across the nation. What did they find hidden behind the walls of the Hollywood star's home? Why is this discovery so significant? Keep calm when we dive into the shocking details about his mansion. On February 26, 2025, the quiet neighborhood of Santa Fe, New Mexico, was shaken by the tragic discovery of the lifeless bodies of legendary actor Gene Hackman, his wife Betsy Arakawa, and one of their 3 beloved dogs inside their home. The discovery was made during a routine wellness check initiated by a concerned maintenance worker who had grown uneasy after the couple failed to respond to repeated knocks at the door. The worker, who had last communicated with the couple approximately 2 weeks prior, contacted local security for assistance. Upon arrival, security personnel peered through a window and were met with a chilling sight: motionless bodies inside the residence. Realizing the gravity of the situation, they immediately dialed 911, prompting the swift arrival of the Santa Fe County Sheriff's deputies. Law enforcement officers entered the home and confirmed the deaths of Hackman, his wife, and one of their dogs. The cause of death was not immediately determined, and authorities launched an investigation to piece together the circumstances leading to the tragic event. Friends and family members, deeply saddened by the news, recalled signs that Hackman's health had been in decline over the past year. Once an active cyclist, he had abruptly stopped riding his bicycle, a hobby he had cherished for years. Observers noted that he had become increasingly withdrawn, rarely venturing outside and appearing homebound in his final months. Despite his reclusive tendencies, those close to him had not anticipated such a heartbreaking outcome. When deputies entered the home, they were met with an unsettling silence. Moving through the residence, they found Hackman's body in the foyer, visibly decomposed, suggesting he had been dead for some time. Nearby, prescription medications prescribed for high blood pressure and thyroid conditions were found scattered across the floor. As authorities continued their search, they discovered Arakawa's remains in a similar state inside a bathroom, adding another layer of mystery to the tragedy. The placement of their bodies suggested that both had collapsed suddenly, with no immediate signs of foul play. In a heartbreaking detail, the couple's Australian Kelpie was found dead inside a kennel within a bathroom closet near Arakawa's body. It was unclear how long the dog had been confined, but its passing highlighted the grim reality that had unfolded within the home. Meanwhile, the couple's 2 other dogs were found alive on the property, though they appeared distressed and malnourished from an extended period without care. A deputy on the scene remarked that it seemed as though Hackman had suddenly fallen, his body positioned in a way that suggested a collapse rather than a struggle. Investigators speculated that Arakawa may have suffered a similar fate, possibly attempting to seek help before succumbing herself. The presence of the prescription medications raised questions about whether pre-existing health conditions played a role in their deaths. By February 27th, the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department released an initial statement confirming that there was no evidence of foul play. However, officials were unable to specify the time or exact cause of death at that stage. The lack of apparent injuries and the advanced state of decomposition complicated early forensic analysis, prompting investigators to pursue multiple avenues in their search for answers. Given the mysterious nature of the deaths, authorities sought to rule out environmental hazards that could have led to the couple's demise. The Santa Fe Fire Department conducted thorough testing for carbon monoxide, a silent killer responsible for many accidental deaths in residential settings. Their examination found no signs of a leak within the home, and subsequent toxicology reports confirmed that both Hackman and Arakawa tested negative for carbon monoxide poisoning. This finding eliminated one of the initial theories and forced investigators to focus on other possible medical or circumstantial factors. On February 28th, the case took a significant turn when the sheriff's department revealed new insights from Hackman's pacemaker. Medical experts analyzed the data stored within the device, which indicated that his heart had stopped on February 17th, 9 days before his body was discovered. This crucial piece of evidence provided a clearer timeline for his passing, suggesting that he had been deceased for over a week before law enforcement arrived at the scene. Meanwhile, early autopsy results provided additional clues but left many questions unanswered. The medical examiner reported that neither Hackman nor Arakawa had any external trauma, reinforcing the belief that their deaths were not the result of violence. However, this did not immediately clarify what had caused them to collapse in separate areas of the home. Investigators continued looking into whether underlying health issues, medication complications, or other factors contributed to their passing. On March 7, 2025, the Santa Fe Police Department and the state's chief medical examiner held a press conference to provide long-awaited answers regarding the tragic deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. Their findings shed light on the heartbreaking sequence of events that had unfolded in the couple's home, painting a picture of illness, confusion, and devastating misfortune. According to the official report, Hackman, the legendary Academy Award-winning actor, passed away on February 18th due to complications from severe heart disease. The medical examiner's findings revealed that Hackman also suffered from advanced Alzheimer's disease and kidney disease, conditions that likely contributed to his increasing frailty in his final months. His pacemaker, which had been a crucial tool in establishing a timeline, recorded an abnormal rhythm on February 18th. This irregularity marked the moment when his heart ultimately failed, confirming his time of death. Shockingly, the investigation determined that Arakawa had died a week before her husband, on February 11th, from hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a rare but deadly respiratory disease. It remained unclear how she contracted the virus, which is typically transmitted through exposure to rodent droppings or urine. The revelation suggested that Hackman had likely lived alongside her body for several days, possibly unaware of her passing due to the cognitive decline caused by his Alzheimer's. The tragic circumstances became even more poignant when investigators detailed how Hackman's condition may have prevented him from comprehending the situation. Given the advanced state of his Alzheimer's, he may not have fully registered that his wife had died or been able to seek help. The presence of scattered thyroid medication near Arakawa's body had initially raised questions about whether she had suffered from a prescription-related complication, but toxicology reports confirmed that the medication played no role in her death. Authorities further explained that Hackman's declining health had been evident to those close to him. Friends and family had noticed that he had stopped cycling, a long-time passion, over a year prior, and his increasing isolation suggested that he had been struggling physically and mentally. Despite these signs, few had anticipated the tragic end that awaited the couple. Investigators also revisited the circumstances of the couple's discovery. A maintenance worker who had last spoken with them 2 weeks before their bodies were found had grown concerned when they failed to answer the door. After calling local security for assistance, he glimpsed lifeless figures through a window, prompting a swift response from law enforcement. Initial examinations showed no signs of foul play, but the lack of immediate answers left a cloud of mystery over the case until medical reports provided a clearer picture. The confirmation of Arakawa's cause of death led public health officials to issue warnings about hantavirus, reminding residents of New Mexico about the risks associated with exposure to infected rodents. While cases are rare, the virus has a high mortality rate, with no known cure once symptoms develop. It was unknown whether Hackman himself had been exposed, but his other health complications were determined to be the primary factors in his passing. In the wake of Gene Hackman's passing, an outpouring of tributes from the film industry and beyond underscored the immense impact he had on cinema. Colleagues, filmmakers, and admirers took to social media and issued heartfelt statements honoring the legendary actor's career, influence, and character. Among the first to pay tribute was Clint Eastwood, who had worked with Hackman on Unforgiven, the 1992 Western that earned Hackman his second Academy Award. In a poignant statement, Eastwood reflected on their friendship and Hackman's unparalleled talent. "There was no finer actor than Gene, intense and instinctive, never a false note. He was also a dear friend whom I will miss very much." Eastwood's words captured the essence of Hackman's legacy, an actor whose performances felt raw, honest, and deeply human. Francis Ford Coppola, the visionary director behind The Godfather and Apocalypse Now, also shared his admiration for Hackman's extraordinary body of work. In a statement, Coppola described Hackman as a great actor, inspiring and magnificent in his work and complexity. "I mourn his loss and celebrate his existence and contribution." The tribute highlighted Hackman's unique ability to portray layered, complex characters, from morally ambiguous detectives to hardened villains and conflicted heroes. His performances resonated with generations of audiences and filmmakers alike, setting a benchmark for authenticity and depth in acting. Beyond Hollywood, Hackman's influence extended to the international stage. Prince William, president of the British Academy of Film and Television Arts, BAFTA, also honored the late actor, recognizing his contributions to the global film industry. In a statement, the prince expressed deep respect for Hackman's artistry. Hackman was a true genius of film who brought each and every character to life with power, authenticity, and star quality. The British Academy had long celebrated Hackman's achievements, having awarded him a BAFTA for The French Connection, the 1971 film that cemented his status as one of the greatest actors of his generation. Other actors, directors, and fans took to social media to share their grief and appreciation for Hackman's work. Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Martin Scorsese were among those who reminisced about his career, praising his ability to disappear into a role and bring a rare depth to every performance. Younger actors, including Leonardo DiCaprio and Christian Bale, acknowledged Hackman as an inspiration, crediting his fearless approach to acting as a guiding influence in their own careers. Social media was flooded with clips and stills from Hackman's most iconic films. Scenes from The French Connection, The Conversation, Mississippi Burning, and The Royal Tenenbaums circulated widely, with fans and critics alike dissecting what made his performances so memorable. Many recalled his unforgettable turn as Little Bill Daggett in Unforgiven, a role that showcased his ability to portray menace and vulnerability with equal conviction. Now, after Gene Hackman's death, people also have doubts about his previous health. In 1990, at the height of his career, Gene Hackman faced a significant health scare when he underwent an angioplasty, a medical procedure to clear blocked or narrowed arteries and improve blood flow to the heart. While he remained private about the details of his health, the procedure indicated that he had been dealing with cardiovascular issues, a common concern for many as they age. Despite this, Hackman continued to work in film for more than a decade after the procedure, showing no outward signs that his health had slowed him down. His ability to maintain an active and demanding career, even after a major medical event, was a testament to both his resilience and his dedication to his craft. More than 2 decades later, in 2012, at the age of 82, Hackman experienced another frightening health incident when he was struck by a pickup truck while cycling in the Florida Keys. Initial reports suggested that he had suffered serious head trauma, sparking concerns about the well-being of the retired Hollywood icon. However, his publicist was quick to clarify that his injuries were relatively minor, describing them as mere bumps and bruises. Given his age and the potential severity of such an accident, the fact that he walked away with only minor injuries was remarkable. The incident, however, reinforced just how committed he was to staying active. Even in his 80s, Hackman had refused to slow down, continuing his passion for cycling, which he had embraced well into his later years. Hackman had largely stepped away from the public eye after his retirement from acting in 2004, making few appearances over the years. However, he did emerge for a rare public outing in late 2022 when he attended an event in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where he had lived for many years. His presence at the event delighted longtime fans who had not seen him in public for quite some time. Though his film career was behind him, Hackman remained a respected and admired figure, and his occasional appearances were always met with excitement. The last confirmed public sighting of Hackman came in March 2023, further emphasizing his decision to live a life away from the spotlight in his later years. Unlike many of his Hollywood peers, who remained in the industry through cameos or public engagements, Hackman was resolute in his retirement, preferring a quiet and private life. His final years were spent in the comfort of his Santa Fe home, focusing on personal interests such as writing, architecture, and outdoor activities. In addition, Gene Hackman's tragic death has caused many fans to question his personal life. Reportedly, in 1956, before he had achieved fame, Hackman married Faye Maltese, a union that would last for 3 decades and produce 3 children, a son, Christopher Allen, and 2 daughters, Elizabeth Jean and Leslie Ann. At the time of their marriage, Hackman was still struggling to establish himself as an actor. He and Maltese navigated the challenges of financial instability as he pursued his craft with relentless determination. The early years of their marriage were spent in modest circumstances, with Hackman working odd jobs while attending the Pasadena Playhouse alongside future stars like Dustin Hoffman and Robert Duvall. Maltese was supportive of his ambitions, though neither could have predicted the towering success he would eventually achieve. By the late 1960s, Hackman's career had taken off, propelled by breakout roles in Bonnie and Clyde, 1967, and The French Connection, 1971, the latter of which earned him his first Academy Award. As his stardom rose, the demands of Hollywood placed increasing strain on his home life. Hackman was often away for months at a time, traveling to film sets around the world. His commitment to his craft meant that his presence at home was sporadic, leaving much of the responsibility of raising their children to Maltese. Despite the challenges, Hackman remained deeply devoted to his family. In interviews, he spoke of his love for his children and his efforts to balance his demanding career with fatherhood. However, he also acknowledged the sacrifices that came with his profession. Years later, he would reflect on the regret of missing significant moments in his children's lives, admitting that his work sometimes took precedence over his role as a father. Throughout the 1970s and early 1980s, Hackman continued to establish himself as one of Hollywood's most respected actors, taking on a diverse range of roles in films such as The Conversation, 1974, Superman, 1978, and Hoosiers, 1986. Yet, as his professional success soared, his marriage to Maltese began to unravel. After 30 years together, the couple officially divorced in 1986. The reasons behind their separation were never publicly discussed in great detail, though many speculated that Hackman's intense career demands and long periods away from home had taken their toll on the marriage. By this time, all 3 of their children were adults, and the split was described as amicable. Hackman and Maltese remained connected through their shared bond as parents, and she largely stayed out of the public eye after their divorce. Maltese, who was born in 1928, passed away in 2017 at the age of 89. Though she had spent much of her life outside the spotlight, she had been a significant presence during Hackman's rise to fame, standing by him through the highs and lows of his early career. Gene Hackman found enduring love with classical pianist Betsy Arakawa. The couple married on December 1st, 1991, after a 7-year courtship that began in the mid-'80s. Their relationship was one of deep companionship and mutual admiration, built on shared passions and a profound respect for each other's careers. Arakawa, a gifted musician born in 1959, brought a refined artistic sensibility to their partnership. As a pianist, her world was steeped in classical compositions, intricate melodies, and a dedication to her craft that paralleled Hackman's own commitment to his acting career. Together, they navigated the demands of Hollywood, while also carving out a private life away from the limelight. Their shared sanctuary was a stunning home in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which Architectural Digest featured in 1990. Perched atop a 12-acre hill, the residence was a masterpiece of Southwestern design, seamlessly blending natural elements with a warm, inviting aesthetic. Hackman and Arakawa carefully curated a space that embodied both tranquility and grandeur, allowing them to retreat from the pressures of the entertainment industry. The home offered breathtaking 360-degree views, stretching across the vast and rugged beauty of the Jemez, Sangre de Cristo, and Sandia mountain ranges. The landscape, with its dramatic sunsets and expansive skies, provided an inspiring and meditative backdrop for their lives. The decision to settle in Santa Fe reflected their desire for a quieter, more grounded existence. For Hackman, who had spent decades in the intense world of Hollywood, New Mexico's slower pace and natural beauty were a welcome contrast. He immersed himself in writing, architecture, and painting, pursuing creative endeavors beyond acting. Meanwhile, Arakawa continued her musical journey, engaging with the local arts community and embracing the serene lifestyle their home offered. Together, they cultivated a life of intellectual curiosity and artistic fulfillment. Their relationship, which endured for decades, was a testament to the power of love, shared passions, and the ability to create a world that reflected their deepest values. Through the years, Hackman and Arakawa remained steadfast partners, supporting each other's endeavors while finding joy in the simple pleasures of home, nature, and creativity. Betsy Arakawa passed away in 2025, marking the end of an era for the couple who had built a remarkable life together. Though her presence is no longer physical, her influence, both as a musician and as Hackman's devoted partner, remains an indelible part of their shared history. Their love story, set against the breathtaking backdrop of Santa Fe's vast landscapes, endures as a poignant reminder of the beauty found in companionship, artistic passion, and the pursuit of a life well lived. Few people know that Gene Hackman also led a rich and multifaceted life beyond Hollywood. His interests spanned politics, motorsports, and an appreciation for historical and cultural figures, reflecting the depth of his personality. A lifelong supporter of the Democratic Party, Hackman was outspoken about his political beliefs, though he remained independent in his assessments of individual leaders. He took pride in being named on President Richard Nixon's infamous enemies list, a compilation of public figures Nixon and his administration viewed as political adversaries. For Hackman, inclusion on the list was almost a badge of honor, symbolizing his alignment with voices that challenged corruption and authoritarian tendencies in government. Despite his Democratic leanings, Hackman spoke favorably of Republican President Ronald Reagan, a former actor turned politician. He admired Reagan's ability to communicate with the American public and recognized his contributions to shaping the country's political landscape. Though Hackman did not always agree with Reagan's policies, he acknowledged the president's charm, leadership qualities, and the respect he commanded both nationally and internationally. Beyond his acting career and political views, Hackman nurtured a deep passion for motorsports, an interest that took a serious turn in the late 1970s. Seeking the thrill of high-speed competition, he began racing in the Sports Car Club of America SCCA circuit, driving an open-wheeled Formula Ford. Formula Ford, known for its emphasis on driver skill and precision rather than raw horsepower, was an ideal proving ground for racing enthusiasts like Hackman. He took the sport seriously, dedicating himself to mastering the intricacies of racecraft and vehicle handling. Hackman's commitment to racing paid off when, in 1980, he won the prestigious Long Beach Toyota Pro Celebrity Race, an annual event that pitted professional drivers against celebrities in a showcase of competitive spirit and driving ability. His victory demonstrated that he was far more than just a Hollywood actor indulging in a hobby. He was a capable and disciplined racer in his own right. The Long Beach race was known for its intense competition, and Hackman's triumph earned him the respect of both motorsports professionals and fellow celebrities alike. His involvement in racing continued, and in 1983, he took on an even greater challenge, competing in the 24 Hours of Daytona Endurance Race, one of the most grueling and prestigious endurance races in the world. He joined forces with the legendary Dan Gurney's Team Toyota, driving in a test of both machine and human endurance. The race demanded not only speed but also strategy, teamwork, and the ability to handle the physical and mental strain of long hours behind the wheel. For Hackman, competing in an event of this caliber was a testament to his love for motorsports and his drive to push himself beyond the limits of Hollywood. A devoted fan of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Hackman frequently attended their games as a special guest of Jack Del Rio, the team's former head coach. His relationship with Del Rio stretched back to the coach's college football days at the University of Southern California, where Del Rio was a standout linebacker in the early 1980s. Over the years, their friendship remained strong, with Hackman supporting Del Rio's coaching career and the Jaguars franchise as a whole. His enthusiasm for the team was well known among those in the Jaguars organization, and he was often spotted in the stands, immersed in the excitement of the game. Beyond the gridiron, Hackman had a deep appreciation for architecture and design, a passion that extended far beyond casual interest. By 1990, he had already designed and built 10 homes, 2 of which were so remarkable that they were featured in Architectural Digest. His homes reflected a meticulous eye for detail and an appreciation for both aesthetics and functionality. He particularly loved incorporating elements of regional styles into his designs, blending natural materials, open spaces, and carefully curated landscapes to create homes that felt both grand and inviting. Despite the time and effort he poured into each project, Hackman rarely stayed put for long. After completing a home, he often felt the pull to move on to another restoration or new construction, remarking, "I don't know what's wrong with me. I guess I like the process, and when it's over, it's over." For him, the joy was in the creative journey, imagining, designing, and refining a space until it perfectly suited his vision. Once the project was finished, however, his restless curiosity would lead him to the next challenge, making his passion for architecture an ever-evolving pursuit. In addition to his love of football and home design, Hackman remained physically active well into his 90s, particularly through his love of cycling. While many people slow down with age, Hackman embraced an active lifestyle, frequently seen biking through the streets of Santa Fe, New Mexico, where he had settled in his later years. Even as a nonagenarian, he maintained a level of fitness and energy that defied expectations, proving that passion and movement were essential elements of his life philosophy. His dedication to cycling not only kept him in excellent health, but also provided him with the solitude and mindfulness that physical activity can bring. What do you think about Gene Hackman's death? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.